live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Get Growing weekly work session with GetOiling. I'm Coach Ashley. Today, we are joined by founders of GetOiling, Greg and Amanda Kilwine. I think Amanda's going to be right back. Hey, Greg.
Hello, hello.
Fabulous. We also have Julie and Colin and Jessica and Grace. Hi, Grace. Everybody wave to Grace. Hi. We're so thrilled to have you here today. We're going to have a conversation today about what I think is a really fun topic, and it ties in nicely to a very exciting announcement that we have just made this week. So I'll just go ahead and put this out there because it's very exciting, and you're going to want to take action on this because it's not something that's going to be around forever. And that is, you can now add unlimited vaults and online classes to your GetOiling account. So if you don't know what those are and you don't know what you would do with them, don't worry, we're going to get into that today. We're very specifically going to talk about how you can use vaults and classes to increase your customer volume overall by getting new customers and then getting more and more of your customers onto subscribe to save and committed to loyalty rewards, because we all want that, right? All right, so first things first, if you're brand new here, welcome. We do this every Thursday at noon Eastern. This is for anyone who is growing a brand partner business with Young Living. We are GetOiling. We are a software platform built by and for Young Living brand partners. We're here to help you grow your business smarter, working smarter, not harder, and of course, getting this stuff done on your terms. If you want to move your groups off of Facebook, if you want to send emails and texts to your people, get your people more educated and connected than ever before. You want to run your events online or offline. We have everything that you need to manage your entire Young Living business, except the VO, because you have the VO already. We're that tool that makes it all work together. So we're thrilled to have you here with us today. If you came here looking for help, then please go ahead and add whatever questions you have, even if they don't pertain to today's topic, to the Q&A. This is a live work session. We are here to help you with whatever you are needing help with today. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into our slides. Of course, we do look forward to chatting with you guys more after I go through this training presentation here. I do want to encourage you, because this might be a new sort of perspective or set of ideas for you here today. I want to encourage you to turn off your distractions, maybe get something out to take notes with, because we're going to be relying on the ideas that come up for you to really start building a plan for some things that you can do next to really transform the results that you see in your Young Living business. So let's go ahead and get that done. We're going to turn off our videos for recording quality here, but we will all come back and wave at Grace as soon as we're done with the slides here today. All right, so let me actually go find them for you and we'll get this thing started. Here we go. Let me find all right, here we go. So very excited today to share with you how you can create an irresistible offer to grow your loyalty rewards customers. So this is both your new customers and then, of course, getting your existing customers to really see the value in making a commitment. All right. So what we're going to talk about here today first is how to create a value add to increase those loyalty rewards and get new customers. We're also going to talk about our unlimited vaults and classes, where you can go to get access to that. And then we'll also be sharing with you a free course that'll help you to actually get this done, to create this value add, to do something with those unlimited vaults and classes. We do have something that breaks it all down for you, including a step-by-step on moving your groups off of Facebook, if that's what you want to do with your customers for Young Living. We also do have a website review scheduled today. I hope you are here. We look forward to chatting with you. And then we do have Q&A and support as well, which is ongoing throughout the call. So if you came here today looking for help, please do go ahead and put those questions in the Q&A so that we can help you. And if it is something that requires us to kind of walk through together, we will make sure that we have space for that at the close of our call. And of course, if you watch this later on YouTube, hello and welcome. Come join us on a live call. You can go to getoiling.com/weekly work session to get on the list, to know what's going to be taught each week, and to have a spot on these live webinars where you can participate with this incredible global community. We are working with folks from all over the world who are sharing Young Living in their own networks and communities. So we look forward to having you here with us live. And if you want to work together more intensively, if you really need some sort of hands-on help on an upcoming call, you could also go to getoiling.com/website review. It looks like we do have our web review here today. Excited to have you. So you actually can, and you'll see what this looks like later on in the call today, have some dedicated space on a call like this where we can, go through and look at things you've been doing together. If you want some feedback or have some specific questions that you feel might need a little bit more space than the back and forth that we might typically have in the Q&A or even an email. All right, so question for you guys. Please add your response to the chat. When you first learned about Young Living, was it a no-brainer for you right away to spend $50 to $100 a month on product? Like, did you get it like right away when you first learned about Young Living? There's no wrong answer to this. And in fact, I believe that yeses are a little bit of an outlier, right? It is common, right? So a lot of us are really excited about it. We see it as being a no-brainer right now, but that's not how most people who are introduced to Young Living experience it, right? There we go. So yeah, you've been friends with a person for 20 years, right? So you're going to be sharing, especially if you've got big goals, you're aiming for a royal crown, you're going to be sharing with so many people. A lot of people aren't going to have that initial connection, right? So for most of us, there is a little bit of a disconnect at first, right? For most of us, there is a disconnect between what we really want, right? Our outcome. So think about this for a second. When we buy something, especially if it's something that we're going to keep buying over and over again, there needs to be a really clear connection between an outcome that you want and the product that you purchase, right? We make our choices first based on emotional decisions because we see ourselves in that future place of having solved that problem, overcome those odds, whatever that might be. And then we back it up with the logic, right? It's emotion, then logic. So we purchase because we see ourselves achieving an outcome or becoming some version of ourselves that we want to be, right? Does that make sense? Now, to be able to get someone to make a purchase, especially you were talking about, I think somebody said here in the chat, they wanted Progestins Plus. Okay, cool. In the US, it's like $40, right? So that's not a huge ask to be like, hey, try this thing. It's $40, right? But to get someone to not just get that thing that's $40 and legitimately, you get a bottle of Progestins Plus, it's going to last you longer than a month. What are they going to buy next month, right? So you can get someone to make an initial purchase. That's pretty simple, right? But for someone to see the vision, to understand why they should connect month over month, to continue investing, to continue buying, we got to have a clear connection to outcome. So depending on how you were introduced to Young Living, that connection might have been immediate, right? Especially if, I don't know, maybe pre-2014 when people could speak a little more freely, maybe you saw or witnessed or experienced something that was really sort of mind-changing, life-changing, transformative, right? So you may have gotten an immediate connection, but for most of us, it takes time and it takes effort to build context and commitment to this company and its products and the act of purchasing them every month, right? And here's the thing, right? There are people who are very, very good at sharing, who are very good at getting people onto subscription out of the gate. And they got a gift of gab, right? It's a very red blue thing. If this is you, congratulations. But you also probably know that you might be a great recruiter, a great seller, but you don't necessarily see that duplicating in your organization, right? So the reason for this is there's no magic set of words. Hey, you can get my discount. Hey, did you know it's like having an Amazon subscription, but Prime doesn't pay you back, right? Like there are things that you can say that might be intriguing to some people, but there's no set of words that you can use, right? And not all of us are or want to be, incredibly gifted at selling stuff or figuring out what those words are, right? And the reason why the words don't work the same for everyone is because everyone's why is different, right? And I'm curious, I'll put this in the chat, you guys. When you committed to buying Young Living products, what's the big why, right? What is your reason for buying Young Living products every single month? Is it because it's supporting your health? Is it because you're wanting to rank advance, right? And you're happy to stock up on product? That's not a wrong answer. Is it because you want to be a product of the product and you know that that's what you need to do to run the business, and you're more business focused? Let us know in the chat. What is your Young Living why? Right? Is it something related to a wellness goal, like supporting digestive system, right? That's what Donna just said here. Are you committed to buying products for a great big reason in your life? What does that look like? Everybody has their own reason, right? Now, if that why were clear and connected to Young Living from the very start, right? If you, like, a lot of us didn't really know and understand about living clean and getting rid of toxins and all of this stuff that has been, sort of adopted by us since we started using these products, right? We have picked those things up, but that why from the beginning, right? I want to feel like I did 10 years ago, and I can't figure out why I don't feel good every day. I want to sleep better because I am feeling guilt for how I respond to my kids when they ask me for something, because I feel so frustrated and torn thin, right? If that why we're really clear and connected to Young Living from the very start, do you think you might have committed to Young Living sooner, or maybe in a bigger way, right? This is kind of the magic sauce, you guys. And if you are working with people one-on-one individually, and they're open to having those conversations and the depth of those conversations with you, you can, and maybe you do make those connections one person at a time, right? That clear and connected conversation, though, in most cases, it probably didn't start with oils for you if you really had that connection in the first place. But when this conversation happens that you're having with other people, for them to really see the buy-in, see the benefit eventually of getting Young Living product every single month, to spend $50, $100, $200+ a month on product, you probably aren't starting with oils as the topic of conversation. You're probably not coming in and saying, let's learn about lavender today, right? No, we're talking about, hey, are you okay? You seem really stressed. Oh, you're not sleeping. Let's talk about that, right? Like, it's topical, it's specific, it's about a goal that they want, right? Because oils aren't the why. The why is you want to feel like you did 10 years ago, right? The why is, I have seen what has happened to someone in my family, and I won't drop the non-compliant words here. I have seen what has happened to people that I know and love, and I have come to understand that the toxic chemicals in the home are a major contributor to that. And my why is protecting my family from that thing that I have seen personally people suffer with, right? That's a why, right? It's not the oils, it's not the products, right? It's that boogeyman in that case. So Young Living products have become connected to the causes and passions that are integral to who you are. And my question for you today is, what if you could make that connection with your leads and your customers first? What if this wasn't about, hey, let me sit down and show you, my business. It's actually, hey, you know what? I am on a mission to achieve this end. And I think that's something that you're into too. Let's talk about that together, right? We're going to make a connection on purpose first, so that the conversation leads to a deeply connected one where Young Living makes perfect sense, right? So do you think if you made that connection from the get-go, right? If they were able to see in that initial conversation that they could achieve an outcome, right? If they work with you over a period of time and take your recommendations, do you think that they would be more likely to subscribe right away? It wouldn't be a huge leap. It wouldn't be just, okay, I'm going to try to get this person to just try this one oil. No, they're going to see that it's a bigger connection, right? If we have that conversation the right way. But it's a difficult conversation to have, right? How many of us feel like we actually have that conversation with every person, with every lead, with every customer successfully, right? Where we can actually sit down and say, hey, what can I help you with? Can I get your commitment to helping yourself? Because I will commit to you if you do, right? Do you feel like you're able to achieve that level of depth and commitment with each person? Chances are you don't, right? Because one by one by one, and in the normal context of, I've got a friend here, a cousin there, a neighbor there, there's not a unifying context. It is, oh, my friend sells oils, right? Or it's, oh, I got introduced to this thing. There's not a deeper sort of thread that's underlying this. So if we could get that working, what would your business look like? Right? If every customer was able to connect Young Living's products to their why, it would probably change substantially, right? You might just rank up, build that additional leg, right? Get to that next place that you want to be in your business. So how can we actually get this done? I'm excited to share this with you today because we also have a case study that I want to show you. This is actually a GetOiling community member who is actively doing this. And what she's doing, I think, is so exciting. So what we're doing here is starting a conversation about outcomes that your people care about. Not, let's talk about oils today, right? We're talking about outcomes your people care about. And then we provide ways to help them achieve those outcomes. So let's talk about our case study. This is the Healing Barn Movement. It is a really cool course and community that was created by Megan, who is, again, a member of our community. She's a Young Living Gold leader and believes deeply in Young Living product and Young Living's mission. But more so, and before she ever even dove into Young Living, she was passionate about medical freedom, personal responsibility, self-education, holistic wellness, and above all else, horses. Do we have any horse lovers in the chat? Maybe raise your hand. Who's here today that is a horse lover or even an animal lover? If you're an animal lover, like super obsessed animal lover, I think you're going to get excited about what you see here, right? All right, so this is Megan. So she uses product, she shares products, she leads a team, but above all else, Megan has a mission in life. And her mission in life is to promote personal responsibility, self-education, medical freedom, holistic wellness, and even more so, she wants people who have and love horses to know that they can treat their horses as well as they can treat their own bodies. And she wants to show them how to do that. Does that sound exciting? Right? That is a mission that Megan has. Think about a mission that you have. You may have had this mission before Young Living. Young Living may have caused you to expand these ideas and this mission for you. Think about what that might be for you. All right, so she created the Healing Barn Movement. And you're welcome to, don't do this right now, but you're welcome to check out her GetOiling website and this program that she's created at healingbarnmovement.com. So the Healing Barn Movement is a holistic resource center for horse owners and equine professionals who are looking for a more natural way to care for their horses. Okay, so you see how there's nothing Young Living here, there's nothing oily here. It is very much about Megan's cause, right? So she's created a holistic resource center for this very specific set of people that she is absolutely passionate about and knows a lot about, right? So she wants to give them a more natural way to care for horses. What she's basically done, you guys, is she's created a ditch and switch course for barns. Like, it's really, really cool. And it does feature, and this is a really powerful thing that you could choose to do if you created something similar. It does feature holistic professionals in the equine space. So she does have, masters in method and natural horsemanship and chiropractors and raindrop and massage therapists and just lots of really exciting and very, very specific and relevant information that she features inside of this community, right? There's also case studies in the community, and they're able to network with like-minded people. Now think back, right? Megan is passionate about self-education, holistic wellness, horses, medical freedom. She is providing a safe space for people who are of like mind and like passion to share ideas, to get educated, to be empowered, to connect with each other, to connect to her, and then ultimately through that trust, connect to product. that she recommends. Is that making sense? Let me know in the comments. And then of course, this is something that she offers, in her case, for sale in a GetOiling vault. So she actually sells this course. Now, what this means for Megan's Young Living business is that instead of trying to find people to share oils with, Megan shows up on social and really anywhere she can to share content and start conversations about these things she's passionate about: horses, holistic wellness, self-education, medical freedom, right? And the people who share those passions with Megan show up and they participate in conversations. They become friends with her. They join her community of like-minded people. They buy the course, right? And through this stuff, they are then introduced, because they're connecting with her, to Young Living products she recommends in context with their passions, those passions that they share. And this makes Subscribe to Save a total no-brainer. So if they are somebody who's got a horse and has become wise to, the chemicals that are in a lot of horse care products, and guys, it's scary if you've ever looked, now they have a guide. And so for the price of admission, they're able to get support, community, ask questions of holistic professionals. And now, because she's got this, basically her course is ditch and switch for your barn. Why wouldn't they buy the products that she recommends? And maybe they're not going to buy all of them all at once. She's got some buying guides. Maybe start here, start with this. Here's the digestive support bundle, right? Maybe start with this on month 1, and maybe month 2, we start looking at clearing out the chemicals and things like that, or maybe we do that first, right? So people are now able to see the whole vision in the context of something that makes sense to them, that's important to them, an outcome that they care about, right? And now, and this is the really cool thing, because she doesn't charge her customers for this information. For her customers that are in alignment with this passion, this purpose, it behooves her and them for her to just give this to them, because why not, right? So in this case, her customers are now able to become educated in ways that they truly care about and can be committed to. They're not just going to get suggested products because we had to really dig in on 27 different care calls before somebody opened up enough to say, okay, here's what I really want. They're able to self-guide more effectively and place their orders. And now it's really connected to that why, right? And then of course, and this is the kicker that's really cool, this is something that her team can use to share Young Living as well. So obviously, because Megan is very passionate about and connected to the equine community, in particular in the areas that she lives in Minnesota and Arizona, they go back and forth. This is a great place for those people who are also horse people to be able to say, hey, I've got access to all this great information. Why don't you come check it out? By the way, I've got a way for you to get it for free. Pretty cool, right? That's a lead-in offer. So let's talk about how Megan actually got this done. Actually, before I even get into this, let me know in the chat, are you starting to see some ideas kick around in your head? Are you starting to see some things that you might be able to do, to offer, to provide this kind of a resource to your own community? The passions that you have, the things that you want to be showing up and serving. All right, so here's how Megan got this done. First, we outlined an outcome that she knew how to get. And that, in this case, was how to create a healing barn. Ditch and switch for a barn, you guys. Then she collected, created, and organized resources to help people get that outcome. She put those resources into an online class in GetOiling, and then we added those classes to a vault, along with a discussion room and some additional pages, supporting information, that kind of thing. And then we created a page on GetOiling that sells that vault, because she wanted to actually sell this, right? This isn't just to educate her Young Living customers. They're not just talking about Young Living in there. This is, she calls it the Healing Barn movement. This is about people who believe that we should be doing things differently, and they want to hang out with other people who believe the same, right? So people want to be a part of this. And those people do get exposed to Young Living as a byproduct. So created a sales page. So for people who she's not connected to, they want to buy it. She's run Facebook ads to it. She gets published and all kinds of stuff. So she gets the word out by blogging, posting on social media. She gets interviewed in industry publications. She hosts events, expos, networking with other holistic equine professionals that she connects with so that they can get clients from this community, and so that she can, of course, get more Young Living customers, right? Pretty cool. So here's a really important thing to know, you guys. This approach is designed to help you grow a team intentionally, right? So in this case, not every single person in Megan's entire gold team is going to be a horse person, right? So this isn't meant to be the end all for everything, but it is meant to be a thing that absolutely fires up and lights up a leg of your team or several legs of your team, or specifically empowers the people that you deeply connect with to connect with you and to take next steps, right? It's a way for you to intentionally grow a community on purpose. An example as well, and I know I saw her comment here today, Paula is doing this, right? If anybody of you guys are using Paula with Beautiful Pages, she creates intentionally, communities that are faith-based, right? So you can build the team that you want. You can attract the people that you want to you if we're connecting on the outcomes that are important to them. So another thing to note, and along these lines, what we're talking about right now is not a substitute for sharing Young Living in the ways that we've always been taught, right? And connecting with your customers on care calls. There is no substitution for these things, but it is a fabulous supplement that can help you get more and better leads and increase your subscribe to save in less time, right? It does a lot of the heavy lifting for you so that you can spend more of your time in more targeted ways, right? Where you've got people who are already ready to do something. They're a part of this because they've got a commitment, they've got a shared goal with you, and they see you as somebody that they can work with to get that goal accomplished, right? So who doesn't want that, right? Who doesn't want more people who are more ready to commit to using product long-term? Who you don't have to sell on this or to feel like you're tugging and pulling and pushing to try to get them to do for themselves. If we're connecting at the outset on something on purpose that they want, it's no longer a sale. It's simply a point, right? So let's talk about how we get this done. Our first step is to pick your perspective, right? So what are you wildly passionate about? Wildly passionate about? What topic do you know like the back of your hand? This is something that you already know. And what kind of advice do your friends and family come to you for? What are you known for? If you could get paid to nerd out and educate on one thing forever, for the rest of your career, what would it be? I mean, you'd probably nerd out and educate on this thing even if you didn't get paid for it. You probably do already. What is that thing? And what was, before Young Living, the why, the passion, the belief that has since connected deeply with Young Living product or the opportunity? Because this isn't necessarily just about product. You could absolutely do this for business if that is your focus, right? Now, our next step, once we have figured out what our perspective is, we're going to outline an outcome for our person who shares it. So how can we help someone get a win that matters to them? What are the simple steps they can follow to get it done? Now, remember, please remember this. If you take nothing else away, this is stuff you already know how to do. You could do it with your eyes closed, your hands behind your back. You could turn on a phone right now and talk through it. Just turn your camera on and just talk. You already know this. So don't start thinking that you need to dream up 27 new things. You already know this. You are, out of 1,200 steps to your ultimate goal, maybe you're at 112, maybe you're at 347. But the fact is, the person that you're making this for, they're at step 10 and they're stuck. You have been where they are, and they need simple steps to just move another 20 steps ahead. You are qualified to help them do that. And they are out there looking for you right now. No matter how you felt coming into this call today, you need to know that there are people who are waiting for you to show up with this solution. And it's something that you probably think is too small. You have probably not even thought about it because it is so obvious to you, right? But it is something you are so good at that it's just going to be magic to someone else. What is obvious to you is magic to someone else. All right. So next, create, and compile. And all we're going to do here is gather the resources that you already rely on or that you've learned from to support the outline of steps that you just made. So you've said, okay, here's the outcome, right? Here are the steps to achieve it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to gather those things together. Are there YouTube videos? Are there this? Are there that? If it's someone else's content, you can't charge for this. Just going to put that out there. Make your own content if you want to put a price tag on it. But there's no reason why you can't compile things that already exist and use this as a free thing. Okay, so long as it is in the public domain. All right, so gather your resources. These are going to be things you've already learned from. Create short videos. And this is absolutely optimal if you do plan to charge for what we're talking about here. So create short videos to teach them and encourage them. Set up your step-by-step in an online class in a GetOiling vault. And Allison, oh my goodness, it does not need to be 100% oils, not even remotely. Oils can be a mention. It can be a drop in this. The whole point is, yes, absolutely, yes. I'm talking about more or less a framework of what could be considered a course, right? A course or a community or a coaching group or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. But we are setting this up as a way to funnel people toward conversations with us where they get started with product. So you can, and Megan certainly does in the example that I showed you guys, you absolutely can oil this just oil this to your absolute heart's content. But I would encourage you to make sure that the point of this is the outcome and not the oils. This is not a direct selling tool that we're talking about here. All right, so back to this. Your step-by-step, you're gonna set up in an online class in the GetOiling Vault. And if you don't know what this means, don't worry. We've got a course that is free that will teach you in little baby steps exactly how to do this. You can add a discussion room if you want community interaction, add pages with supporting information if you want. And look, even if you aren't planning to sell this, even if you want to use this as something that you build a community around, educate your community with, give it a dollar value, because you want to be able to say, all right, look, this is something that I've created. It's worth X amount of money. But when you get started and you're subscribing to the products that I recommend anyway, you're going to get it for free. So let's get you set up with your first order, right? So give it a dollar value again, even if you aren't going to sell it. All right, now we're going to make it a movement. We have created our sort of oasis in the desert, right? For our people, that water is flavored the way our people like it. It's going to help them get what they want. So now we're going to make it a movement. So now you want to ask yourself, who do you know that's already passionate about this thing? And then you want to invite them and find influencers and experts to contribute to this community, because this is really, this is not about your business at the end of the day. Does it benefit your business? Absolutely. But this is about your mission. Remember, Megan created the Healing Barn movement because of her passions, her mission. Does it support her Young Living business? You better believe it, but it's not the why. It gets oiled. The why gets oiled, right? So you oil the stuff that you put in here, but the purpose is not oils. So we want to invite people to contribute. We want people to invest in this. We want people to be a part of it. And then you can actually go and offer to show up and provide value to influencers' audience, guest post, be interviewed on a podcast, offer to give them a freebie that you've made that is maybe a piece of the bigger picture that you've put together. And then go and show up everywhere that people who care about this topic hang out. Facebook groups, message boards, local community places, holistic practices, businesses. Start conversations, be a helper, get known for this thing that you're passionate about, and make new friends, and then aim to grow this community together. Make what you're doing a movement. You want people to invest in being a part of this. Because again, this isn't about your business. Does it benefit your business? Yes, but that's not the point. Then we're going to water our garden. So as I've just said a couple of times here, Young Living is not the reason. Your shared passions with these people is the reason that you are connecting. And that means that you're building a massive warm market who trusts you, who wants to learn from you, who wants to have open conversations about their goals, their wellness, their money, their business, whatever that topic might be. And from there, you get to offer opportunities to chat with you one-on-one. We're not, just bringing them in there and saying, buy this, buy this, buy this. I mean, there are ways to introduce them to opportunities to purchase. But again, like the whole point of this is not to pitch Young Living products. It's to offer someone a transformation that Young Living facilitates, right? So we offer those opportunities so that they can chat with you one-on-one, right? Have a call with these people who are interested. Of course, they're going to sign up, right? They could join info sessions if you're going to be hosting a class weekly for the general public where they can learn about oils. This is the perfect community to take that invitation to because they already want to hear from you, right? And remember, you still have to build relationships and offer Young Living one-on-one. There's nothing ever that anyone can create that will change this fact. You must build relationships and work with people on a one-on-one basis until they have grown their wings and are ready to do the same for others. But it's so much easier this way to build those relationships and offer Young Living because you share something so important in common. You have that common ground, common goals, and you know that these people know that you can help them get to where they want to go. All right. So guys, this can be something that's exclusively available for customers on subscription if you want. It could cost money to non-customers or non-subscription holders. It could be leveraged for your brand partners to share with their network connections who have the same passions like Megan has, right? With her healing barn. So again, not everybody in Megan's organization is obsessed with horses, right? But those who are, she could be like, yeah, why don't you go talk to your people? And you can say, hey, I've got a community you could join. The cost of admission is, you get the products, right? Or she could sell it, be an affiliate, however you want to do it. There's so many ways you can do this. And then of course, the topic of this, the outcome of this can be connected to product. It could be connected to business, or both. And because part of the way Megan has her set up is to connect with and provide platform for holistic practitioners and people who work in the equine space, this is absolutely something that she could bring to those folks and say, hey, I've got something that can help you build your business. Would you like to also build an additional income stream? Right, that's complementary to this. Then she recruits them as a brand partner and they can be referring their patients into this or their customers into this. Doesn't that make sense? You can use this in multiple different ways. All right, so are some ideas starting to flow for you guys? I would love for us to talk about them in the chat. Absolutely would love to hear about what these ideas might be for you, what the movement is, what the outcome is that you really want to be helping move people toward. So look, when you begin showing up in your community, on social, wherever you are as a creator who is leading conversations on purpose, people will start to respond to you differently. You don't have to make this whole thing a masterpiece. This does not have to be, a signature program. Like this does not have to be some kind of perfect thing. What it does need to be is perfectly you and helpful toward an outcome that people you really care about want, right? So just to recap, all we got to do here is determine our why. What's our perspective? Ask yourself those questions we talked about earlier, and then outline the steps that'll help them get an outcome that they want. And look, again, you already know how to do this. You don't need to research this. If you can't just write it down right now, it's too complicated. You already know the answer. Then create a place to learn and grow toward that outcome. You would use a GetOiling vault for this. And then you'll enlist a couple of friends who have a similar perspective to start building this community with you. And remember, the reason why this works as a movement and as a community is because it's not about your business. It's about the movement. It's about the people. It's about the outcome. It benefits your business on the back end. So don't worry too much about how you oil this or how Young Living is placed in this, because the whole purpose here is to grow a massive warm market who is oriented around outcomes that you know how to get with products. All right. Then we're going to start leading conversations toward this thing that you've built. So what if you've got a few passions that you want to promote? What if you've got a lot of stuff and maybe you want to do this twice? I do recommend that you start with one. For what it's worth, I do recommend that you do one before you try doing another. But the good news is regardless of how many of these things you want to chase and create and communities you want to build, you can now add unlimited vaults and online classes to your GetOiling account. Now you can log into your dashboard right now and you'll see a message up top that does have this announcement. You can click it and you can add it on. You can also go to your vaults page and click to add that on as well. So this is a really exciting thing if you are maybe at basic, maybe you don't have a lot of contacts, you don't have a huge list, you're just getting started, but you do want to start creating. This is a great option for you because in a lot of cases, and we've seen this so much over the years since we started offering vaults and online classes and sort of being able to create a member area, is that we've got folks who just have these seeds that they want to start planting, even though the rest of the business isn't at high volume. And so now you don't have to have, a high volume contact manager to have this, right? You don't have to move up to a new plan to add this onto your account. So Greg has just put that link in the chat. Highly recommend you guys take advantage of this because it's not going to be around forever. You're going to be really happy that you did, because this is unlimited, you guys. Like every one of our plans, except for our absolute highest plan, has limits on these things. So if you are seeing those creative juices flow, you may want to go grab that. All right, now for those of you who are like, what on earth is that and how do I even get started? We do have a free course for you where you can get started with creating this movement, creating this community. You can store all of your educational resources in one place where it's nice and organized, unlike Facebook. You can securely have your communication. You can know who's in there, police who's in there, choose who gets to see what. This lives inside of your own private space off of social media. And of course, you can choose to sell it or to offer it for free. This How to Move Your Groups course, to getoiling.com/move your groups. You can not only learn how to create a community, I would say look at like a lead group in this way when you get in there, but you could also learn how to create groups like this, vaults, that serve your customers as well as your brand partners. Okay, so go to getoiling.com/move your groups. This is free. Take advantage of this. It will show you what you can do with all those amazing vaults you have. And if you, and I don't have a slide for this, but if you go to attractwell.com/online course, if you are very specifically interested in setting up an online course for sale, that is a training on our sort of twin platform that is not Young Living focused. It's for everybody else. You can see an in-depth course there that's totally free. That'll teach you how to set up an online course that you might want to charge for. Okay, so we're going to get into our website reviews and Q&A, and I am just so excited to see what you guys do with this fresh perspective, with this new way that you can be working on and growing your business. So I'm going to come over to, what's this weird thing right here? Okay, I'm going to come over here and find our review today, and we'll get into some questions in the Q&A as well. By the way, chat has been blowing up. If you asked a question, please make sure you put it in the Q&A, because I don't think I'm going to be able to scroll through everything there. So, okay, we've got a few here. I'm going to answer these real quick, the ones that we have here, and then I want to bring out our review. So Shelly says, this is more of an issue that I have rather than a question. I still don't have any vaults on my website. I tried to set one up, but it was a no-go. I feel so inept when it comes to setting all this up. Think about so much, I confuse myself. What am I coming up with a single idea? Ooh, yeah. So just do one, pick one. The best way to put this, right? The best thing to look for is low-hanging fruit. It's obvious, it's in your face. It may be helpful to talk to your best friend about this. Ask them, when you think about me, what comes to mind? When you think, like if you were to talk about me to someone else, what would you say? And your friends, your family, they will tell you what that is. And I would just trust and start with that and say, okay, I know how to organize a pantry. I know how to you know, organize a home, right? Like I know how to declutter. I know how to, gosh, there's so many things. Actually, that comes to mind. Leslie, who's a platinum, has recently launched something similar, and she did a challenge on calming the chaos in your home. She's got like 5 kids, and she is the most Zen person, and it's incredible to see. And so what she's done is she says, here are the 3 main things that we're going to do, and we're going to show up in these different ways every day, and we're going to build these habits. And by the time we're done, you're going to have a beautiful sanctuary at home, and you're going to feel really confident going into every day. And they're itty bitty 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 baby things like make your bed. It can be very obvious. It's about the support that you provide. So trust yourself, Shelley. You have a value for this. Just start with 1. Of course, you know that you can add unlimited eventually, but the best thing to do is to start with the first one. Let's see, Michelle. If I purchase unlimited vaults and classes, could I lower my GetOiling package? Should I not lower? So I would definitely take a look because it's not the same, right? So our basic has a little taste of everything that we offer in terms of plans. But if you were to downgrade from premium to basic, the number of people on your Zooms will go down. Like there are a few different features that you would that would adjust. So I would go look at the plans and pricing page on the GetOiling site before you make that call, because for a lot of folks it does make sense to stay at premium. Premium offers 5 vaults and online classes, which is great, but yeah, it just depends on how else you're using the system. Hi, Krishanda. Is there a way to limit access to a class within a vault, or would I have to separate the vault for each product? You got it on the second question. So as of right now, if you want separate experiences, they need to be in separate vaults unless that experience is something that is strictly delivered via email. I suppose if you really wanted to, here's an idea. You could hide a class from the vault itself. And the only way people would be able to see maybe a lesson or the class is, you know, maybe a certain buy-in level got a special campaign that links to this thing that's hidden. But I don't think that that would be the most optimal experience. I would just recommend that you have that be something that's separate. Stacy, how do we set up a vault? If you go to getoiling.com/move your groups, we go through all of that and just very simple step-by-step. And you could also go to our help center and type in vault, and there's a number of really great sort of succinct articles there to help you. All right, let's see. How are you making your background? That's a good question. So actually I don't remember the name of the website I got it from, but it is a soundproof room divider. I am a week away. Like basically after this weekly work session next week, we are packing up and moving back to New York City. My office is an absolute disaster zone right now. And so this is actually a full-fledged thing that's behind me. So it's a real physical thing. All right. So, all right, let's come over here, and we have today, we have Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Will you raise your hand for me, please? I'd love to bring you out to chat. Oops, not Heather, sorry. You moved. Hi. Is it gonna let me do this? Here we go. Now I've got you. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I am doing well.
Good, all right, let's talk.
Okay, so I think the most important thing for me right now is to get some feedback on my homepage. I have done a lot of like reconstructing and deconstructing, and I just want to make sure that it is going to bring that impact as I start building more of a following over in Instagram and bringing them over here. I want to make sure that it's going to continue that process of deepening their understanding that I'm their go-to person for gluten-free living recipes and that type of thing.
Perfect. All right, I am pulling up your website right now.
Okay.
It's Green Thumb Cooking, is that right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, it's taking a minute to load.
Okay.
Jamie, you're in Jersey. Hey, yeah, I'll be pretty close to, well, it depends. Jersey's kind of big when you think about it in context of like where New York City sits. I don't know why this page is not wanting to load for me. Here, let me go over to your account. All right, and tell me about your presence on Instagram and sort of what that is, like what your goals are with showing up there. Here we go, I found
Okay,
you.
so I'm still very, very new at Instagram. Being more consistent, showing up, and just with consistency has been a challenge. So that's what I'm really focused on with Instagram, and just working on daily posts and reels over there, sharing recipes, but only giving more of the ingredients now and directing them to my blog so that they're coming over. And the simple start to gluten-free, that's what I think is my main attraction for people, because if you're gluten-free, it's a lot of overwhelm all the time. And I'm not sure that these pages are set up correctly. Like, I originally did a page and not a landing page, so I just threw that together earlier today.
I think it's
Um,
great. And also,
okay.
like, as somebody who is recently diagnosed with Hashimoto's, like I'm looking at like, this looks really nice. And I click this and I'm like, oh, this is very smart
Right.
what you just
Well,
did
and
here.
so am I supposed to have both of them on? Like, I saw it was either like I could choose 2 or 3 things on a page, or should I really have 2 separate guides, if you will, on that section? I was a little
Uh,
confused.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? Like on your main homepage where you're sending people, you
Uh-huh,
do want, I mean, obviously you've got a menu, people can explore, but you want to
uh-huh.
have like the main thing that drives your conversation right
Okay,
here up top, which you've
okay,
done, right? So simple
okay.
start to gluten-free, somebody's trying to, A, you want to know that they're gluten-free, B, you know that they're
Mhm.
probably overwhelmed or feel confused. And so you're going to give them a breath of fresh air. This is a really good thing to offer here.
Okay.
Um, so this,
Does that become more confusing? I was kind of getting lost as to, should I have these extra things on my page? Is that just too many options?
so
Because
I,
gardening is also my passion,
yeah, no,
but
I
it's
think
not
that's,
the
I think that's
main
awesome.
focus.
But I think that, so, and I'm actually in our next class on the Attract Well office hours at, in an hour, a little over an hour
Mhm.
from now. I'm actually gonna be talking about website strategy along these lines. If you want to come, it's attractwell.com
Okay.
forward slash office hours. But basically, the what I recommend is that you simplify. We want to narrow
Okay.
toward the outcome that
Okay.
we're looking for. So there's nothing wrong with offering additional resources. I would just consider putting them a little further down on the page,
Okay.
right? Because ultimately what you probably want for them to do is to obviously opt in so that they can get on your list and get a drip
Mhm.
of information and all of that kind of stuff. But the next thing, and really the best thing that you want them to do, is to probably get on a call with you, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what I would do in the next section here is to maybe share your story, or have a little bit of your story here, and then link off to an about page, so that, you know, if they're like, well, let me know a little bit more about this person. Now we can kind of like, 'cause that's the next sort of
Mhm.
logical thing is like,
So
okay,
would you mind just scrolling? I have that further down.
okay.
Um, and still there. So maybe I just have it out of order.
Mhm.
So that doesn't really give all that much, but when you click more about Jennifer, then it does give you a little bit more. Um,
You've done
more
a
my
really nice
story.
job. You've done a
Thank
really,
you.
really nice job with this. Um,
So
yeah.
should I
So
be using more of this information, or just use that small about me, or
yeah,
not small
yeah.
about
So
me,
what I
but
would do is I would
okay.
just give a little blurb on the
Okay.
homepage. Give a little like, well, this is great, actually. This
Okay.
is
So just move
perfect.
it up.
I would encourage you, because your goal is to get people onto a call, is once they click here and they've wanted to learn more about you, what I would do, let me find it, on your about page, I would actually have the call to action be to get in touch with you, to schedule a call with you if they've made it this far, because you've already offered this on the homepage,
Okay.
right? So I would do that. I wouldn't necessarily open the about me in a new, because you have a nice you have a nice
Okay.
menu up here. You don't necessarily have to open all of these in a new window. So yeah, I would put the about next, because really what we're doing here is we're hooking them with, oh, I've got simple ways to start going gluten-free. And now they kind of need to get your credibility here, right? So I put your about section here, tell a story, share the pain point, and then, and this is actually, I would move this directly underneath here. This is a really good thing to have, like, just, I would say it's even more important than what you've put right here.
Okay, so should I take off the blue banner and just move it to the very top?
Yeah. This message deserves to be at the very top of the page, I think.
Okay, I had it there and I moved it down.
Yeah, visible at the very top, because this is what they're feeling right now, right? They feel this right now. And that's the reason why they're going to say yes to giving a stranger their information.
Okay.
Right? That's why they want to open your emails and so on and so forth. They read that and they're like, she gets me. Right.
Okay.
And then of course this could even go, so these two together could go, beneath here. But I do think that we need to tell you what I do. I would just take these resources and move it to the very bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it looks like after scrolling through here, I would maybe not show this right now and kind of test out. So for 3-4 months, have this one. And then for 3-4 months, have this one. And you can always be promoting these things on separate landing pages from your blog posts and from your content.
Sure. Would you do me a favor? And well, do you think the bottom is fine to have as far as like the shop, the blog, or is that distracting?
I actually think that this is a better option than having this here. And sort of what is this one? The digestion one. Yeah. So I would say that these this would probably be a better thing to put here than having multiple other lead magnets on the page.
Okay, perfect. Now, my other question is on that shop button at the bottom. When you click it, it's going to give you things like Amazon, Young Living tab, and then more like a non-toxic option. And what I've done is I've created categories based on my target market of what they would be. So the one in the middle where it says non-toxic. Now, these are not actually, you're going to see the buttons below, but I've not filled them out because I wanted to make sure this was a good direction to go before I spend all the time creating it. So I took kind of the pain points that I see all the time being someone that's gluten-free, and I was just going to create bundles that match digestion, muscles, that kind of thing. Is it too many options to have 6? I mean, one is going to be a custom, but
yeah,
it's too much, isn't it?
I think so, because I mean, and I can't personally attest to knowing anybody who is, sending people to a page full of bundles from Instagram and people are reliably buying those bundles without conversations. But if you plan to use these bundles on calls, for instance, then you could, on a call with somebody, say, all right, let's go over to, like, send them this link on your website, and you have them scroll down and say, all right, so you were talking about, having a goal, like your hair has been falling out or whatever, like, let's take a look at this. And so click hair and skin, and let's walk through that together. So you could use it as a presentation tool, but I wouldn't rely on this as being like a thing that would automatically funnel people toward the purchase.
Okay, so would you just omit that section, period? Like take out?
No, if you see yourself, if you integrate this into a tool that you use for presentation on care calls and with leads, then this is absolutely a great idea, and it's gorgeous. And I mean, so the thing that would be most effective from a topical perspective, where we're talking about leads and funneling toward calls with you, is to have maybe your digestion blog post linked here, or maybe like have a blog post about about gluten-free and digestion, or have a blog post about the the hidden gluten containing ingredients in hair and skin products, right? But as you have it set up right now to learn more about products, this would work really nicely inside of a vault where you've got people who are a little bit more oriented toward, maybe they've been introduced to Young Living. They know that you are someone who could help them with products specifically. But for leads, I wouldn't necessarily put this front and center.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
beautiful.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've done a great job with this.
Now, when you're in, I'm trying to utilize more. I watched your Meta. You had done something on talking about Meta and in your blog and that type of thing. So I'm still a little bit confused. If you would be able to look at like my one blog, maybe this last one from yesterday, because most of my stuff that I do is a recipe. Should I be using things like the ingredient list? Or should it be more like easiest homemade, kind of like the start of my little blurb there? Which part goes in the meta? I'm still so confused on that part.
Got you.
Like, should it
So
be the ingredients or should it be?
yeah. Well, so let's look real quick. So this is easy guacamole. So I'm going to Google easy guacamole. And so you can see right here, this easy guacamole recipe will take you less than 5 minutes to make. It's a simple recipe that uses minimal ingredients, just like authentic guacamole. That's the kind of thing you want to put there. This is the best guacamole recipe as it's simple to make, uses blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you can, so here's an example. So there's not really a right or wrong.
Okay.
Right?
I saw a lot of them yesterday where it was ingredients, so I was confused.
Yeah, you could always just drop a little. I mean, I think that the best thing to do, and you can actually see this, is you're actually going to see keywords included, right? Like guacamole recipe, or here's one, easy guacamole recipe. I Googled easy guacamole, right? You know, there's a pain point there, 5 minutes to make, less than 5 minutes to make. So that's the kind of stuff you want to put in your meta description. Do make sure that you are using an excerpt, because right now we can see the whole recipe here.
Oh, so I should be using that all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Always use an excerpt.
Understand that. Okay.
Always use an excerpt and always use a featured image. Yep.
And featured image. Okay. Okay, good. Now, featured image on one of mine, it looked like it was showing it twice. That one, right, if you go back up on the right-hand side, you see the featured image. Keep going down a little bit. Under blog, yeah. Oops, you just went by it again. The picture, you see the little tiny picture on just one of them as you're scrolling up. Right there, women's health.
Women's health? Oh, right there.
Yeah. So when you click that blog post, though, I think it showed 2 images.
Yes.
Yeah, it shows like that. So what am I doing wrong?
Yep, really simple. If we go to your blog posts, and I think that one, well, that was women's health. So
yes.
So this one, there is a featured image. It's also, it's in the post itself. So here's what we do. You want to make sure you have a featured image in all of them, but under advanced options, you are going to not show the featured image on the post itself. So uncheck that right there. Yep.
Okay, that's why I stopped doing it, because I didn't like seeing it twice.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it. And yeah, so if we go back here now, there's only the one image.
Perfect. Okay, very good.
Cool.
Very good. Okay, and as far as if I wanted like jump to a recipe right now, I pretty much do really short little write-ups, and then I know that I need to put more meat in as far as like talking about the ingredients and why I'm using those. But for me, I find it very annoying if I have to keep scrolling. So would I be able to put a jump button like I do like print recipe? I figured out how to do that one, but if I had to jump to the recipe, like say it was like 2/3 of the way down the page before the recipe starts, are we able to do that? To move further down a page?
Greg? I don't think we can actually yet. That's a good wish list item. I think that's a page feature. But yeah, but regarding your like how you're actually formatting the post, make what you want to read. You know, if you get annoyed by people taking forever to get to the point when you just
I do, I never read any of it.
Yeah. I find it a little annoying too. So I appreciate it when I get somewhere and they're like, hey, if you want to subscribe for things where I talk about this, that, and the other thing, you can click here. But if you're just here for, and then they can get all of the other blog posts that are longer in length. But if you're just here for the recipe, I'm going to honor your time, right? So people will
Yeah.
appreciate that. Your people will appreciate that.
Mhm. Okay. All right, great.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Such
Jen.
great work. You have done such a good job on this. Beautiful
Oh,
branding.
can I just ask you just one more question?
Sure.
I'll leave you be. Is there a way that we can do mass removal of managing our images? Because I'll have like a handful of images that I like to repeat all the time, but I have so many in between that I'm scrolling for days. Is that something we're able to do? Yeah,
Greg?
maybe a wish list.
It's a wish
That
list.
that is on the wish list, yeah.
Okay.
Organizing that a little bit better somehow.
Okay.
Yep.
I was
I
just
mean,
thinking if
you
we had
can
a,
like, if there's some there that you're not using, that you can like delete them and it won't like delete the original. So you can kind of clean up your list if that helps at all. But yeah, some better organization I think has been on the wish list for a little while.
okay, because I was just thinking we have that section with like fonts. If we could have it like over there where it's like, I don't know if it's called wallpapers, but whatever, like backgrounds and stuff that we use repeatedly, like be able to select some. That's all that I really want. It's just a handful of them that I can reach without having to scroll. But okay, thank you.
Good idea.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely
Appreciate it.
file that away to the wish list. Thank you for sharing today. You've done some really, really remarkable work.
Thank you.
All right, so a few questions before we go. Thank you all for sticking around and for being patient. Sean, I have a few Zoom videos. Can I upload them to a Vault? So you actually need to host your video on a separate platform. So you get your Zoom recording, you download it from GetOiling if you're saving it to the cloud there, and then you can put it onto Vimeo. That's definitely my recommendation if you're going to put something into a Vault that's intended to be private. You do have the option of creating something unlisted on YouTube, which is free. So once you upload it there, then you're just going to take the link to that video, and then you're going to pop that into either the video section on an online class, lesson inside of an online class in GetOiling, or you can embed it on a page with that little video embed button. But you do, the kicker there is that you've got to upload it somewhere so that it's hosted. How long do you think it takes to go through the Move Your Groups Off of Facebook course? I stalled after the second module. It's a good question, Allison. It really depends on what you want to build. You could go through all of the videos in, I don't know, a couple hours, but it really is sort of designed to guide you through action steps. So it really varies widely. If you're just getting started, I think it would actually take you a lot less time than somebody who's maybe had a group where they've been doing stuff like this for years, right? So if I've got like a platinum leader in Young Living that's had a Facebook group for 10 years, there's a lot of content that they maybe want to kind of farm out of there and pull out to put into a Vault. But if we're talking about what we went over today, it's a matter of just like going through and saying, all right, I need to make 5 videos, make the 5 videos, come back to the next step. So I would say you should be able to get through what we talked about today in a week or less, because again, this is stuff you already know. I would challenge you to do it in a weekend, and I think you can. All right, let's see. Shelly, there are so many topics I really enjoyed talking with people about: how to plan and make a budget that you could live on and with for life, how to combat the stress of being a professional court reporter, extend longevity of your career, so many things. This is amazing. I think I just need to let one or some of us tell you what, Shelly. Yes, we have actually, how about this? Go to getoiling.com/VA and there's a little form you're going to fill out. It may be that that what you want to have done is something that our team can do for you. It may be, if it's something that's sort of higher level strategy, you need a call with me and we'll set that up if that's the case. But I would say next step, just go to getoiling.com/VA and fill out that form there, and then we can figure out how we can help you best next. let's see, 514229, don't know your name. Hi. We do have a page section template on Pages where you can add in your blog posts. So it'll actually show your 3 most recent blog posts, which is pretty cool. And those are, it wouldn't be excerpts, it would be like the featured image and the title. Print recipe button on the blogs, that's a good wish list item. Really good wish list item, although you could insert a button, and if you have some kind of a PDF that you've created that is formatted to print with your recipe on it, then well, that's doable right now. So take your recipe, go into Canva, or use a word processor, make a PDF of your your recipe, upload it to your GetOiling system, and then link that to a button. Yeah. And then don't forget to like link your website to that PDF, offer a lead magnet, whatever the things you want to do to help circle them back in. All right. Great questions, you guys. Gone a little long here. Always excited to see what you come up with. So we'll be back here next week. And let me double check this real quick. It's not, is it next week or the one after? Oh, in 2 weeks. How many of you guys know who Leslie Burris is? How many of you guys know the Brand Partner Academy? Have you heard of the Brand Partner Academy? Those of you who stuck around, you're learning something no one else knows. Leslie Burris is going to be here to train you guys in 2 weeks. Are you excited? Get excited. Make sure you bring all of your team because she's amazing. And she's going to talk about what is actually needed to have classes, to do classes. We really overcomplicate classes for Young Living, and she's going to show you how to make it simple. So that's 2 weeks from today. All right, we will see you guys next week, and y'all have a fantastic week. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around. Have a great week. Bye.